Hey, Village. It's SMNQ Wednesdays, where I share your messages and answer your questions. Tonight we have three questions. Hey, we got three questions. I'm excited. Yeah. Look, on the first question, look, I always jump right into it, don't I? But on the first question, the person asked, what are the ages of your sons and how did you do raising them? Well, um, I have four sons, and their ages are 31, 32, 33, and 34. Yes, they are stair steps. Um, how I did when I was raising them. Well, it's not like, us parents have a tick sheet, when we're raising our children, especially a woman raising boys. It's a little background on me. I've always been a little rough around the edges. um, not too bad, but let the men that come across me sometimes they state that I'm a wee bit aggressive, intimidating. Um, and I've always said, hey, that's on them. If I'm intimidating to them, that is something that they need to work on within themselves. But then I had to step back as I got older and realize that not all of it was on them. Some of the onus was on me. I look back and raising my boys, I had a heavy hand, and sometimes you have to have a heavy hand. And I'm not talking physical. That's not what I'm talking. I'm talking that I was very strict. Um, when they were younger, from maybe 8 to 12. They were only allowed to stay in the yard. We had a fenced-in yard, so they allowed to play in our yard, and they didn't go very many places without me because I was of the mindset that I must protect and stand in front of my sons at all times. If there wasn't a father there to protect them, then I felt that that was my job. So not only did I feel I needed to nurture them, I felt like I needed to bang when they had an issue with someone. Uh, if you saw them, you saw me. Um, I'm not glorifying fighting or anything like that. I'm just telling the truth. My sons, I was all they had. And I tried to fill every corner of the square. Um, and in doing so, I think I hardened myself a little more. Watching the things that the kids at that time were going through, and one of my sons had an encounter with a police officer that affected him at 12 years old and left a lasting impression and not a positive one. I felt as a mother that I needed to make up, I guess, for lack of a better word, make up for their father's absence. I was strict. I was, I don't, they knew I loved them. I wasn't an active I love you person. Um, my mom didn't use I love you often. Think maybe I heard it once. Um, my boys got a lot of my attention. I was 20 when I had my oldest. So to me, I was still growing up when I had them. So, and it was a different time. It was in the 80s. So I spent a lot of time entertaining them because I was so restrictive. It's not like they couldn't go outside after, I did say I kept them in like until 12, but afterwards, we they were able to do what normal kids were doing. But I think I did a whole lot of micromanaging because I didn't want any problems with my sons. You hear the stories and you're witness to some things, and you remember, those parents that have those kids, or you know those stories. And I didn't want those stories. I didn't want my boys to be on drugs. I didn't want my boys to be in jail, headed to prison. you know I didn't want that smoke. And thank God they didn't want that smoke, because my sons had a healthy fear of me. And again, I'm not talking about because of anything physical. It was the respect. It was what I'd shown them throughout their growing years. It was the person that I showed them. They knew that I was no nonsense. Communication was a key between us. They knew early on, from the time they were able to understand, that they can tell me anything. I've mentioned that before, and I mean anything. Again, some things I didn't want to hear, but some things I needed to hear. I needed to hear it. And who else was going to be their outlet? Again, tag, I'm it. So I had to play many different roles in their lives, as do all mothers. You know, I wore every hat out there, and I'm proud of that. You know, my boys, they're men, but they're always going to be my boys. I'm very proud of them. Very proud of them. They did not end up in prison. They are not on drugs. Now, do I have a lot of grandkids? Oh, yes, I do. But that's okay, because they take care of every last one of them, and they have custody of their children. I don't know how many times I can tell them that I'm proud of them. As many times as allowed, I guess. But yeah, that was me while raising my boys. Um, Only changed a little bit. Not as hard anymore, but I've raised them, and they still have a little healthy fear, you know. And it's changed, because when they were younger, they were worried about getting in trouble, getting a whooping, or being on punishment, things like that. Now, as grown men, they worry about disappointing their mother. They want to make me proud, and I'm happy they want to make me proud. As long as they don't want to disappoint me, then they'll continue on the path that they've paved for themselves. They're good men. They're good to their children. They're good to me. They're good men. So that was me when I was raising my boys. Thank you so much for that question. Thank you. And I said I had three questions. I have two questions. One of I just answered. Someone just left a message, and then another question. So the message was this person said, "You sound nervous, but it sounds great." I am nervous sometimes. That's just a fact. Because I am usually not this person at all. Um, I'm very quiet, very introverted. Um, my friends say that's a lie, and I beg to differ. I love behind the scenes. That's where I work best. And the nervousness, I'll get over it. I'll get over it. But I appreciate you letting me know that I'm doing a decent job. I appreciate that. Because the nerves sometimes have me thinking otherwise. But stay tuned. I'll get better. I'll get better. And the final question for tonight: why a podcast? And my answer is, why not? I mentioned that I like behind the scenes, but my main reason is I freaking love men. Black, white, green, yellow, purple, short or tall, fat or skinny. I think men are wonderful, beautiful, powerful, and I want to know some things. And who best to get it from? My men out there, and the mothers that raised them, and the society who helps to shape them. That's why a podcast. But the best part is speaking with different people on the same subject and receiving a different point of view. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. And I'm going to wrap this up tonight, Village. Thank you so much for the questions and the message. If you would like to leave a message or ask me a question to be shared on Wednesday nights, you can leave a message at anchor.fm/Kelly, that's KELLI dash Thomas, capital O. You can also find us on Pandora, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Apple iTunes. Just search for Boys to Men, Their Moms, and Society. Thank you for joining me tonight. Have a good night, Village.